My dad was rather upset with the change. He said he had fought for Canada under the Red Ensign and did not like the change. He also did not like the new flag, the maple leaf. He did not think it was truly representative of the entire country. And if I am truly honest, I must admit, I have never truly liked the maple leaf either. I was only a teenager when the change happened. However, it was the flag I had been brought up under, and I felt a deep connection to it. Perhaps I was just absorbing my dad's dislike, but it is still a bit of a thorn in my side. The maple leaf seems a bit lackluster to me. Hear from the people who were there in the 1960s when the current national flag of Canada was created. I'll read many comments. Stay tuned. Do you associate this new flag of Canada with dystopia, with Canada's decline, with the modern, new, invented Canada that is being imposed on the population? Or do you not connect this flag to the current decline? This flag was created in 1965. This is also an official flag in Canada. It is our Royal Union flag. It still flies today. Prior to 1707, it was the English flag and the Scottish flag. This flag flew in Canada before 1965. It is the Canadian Red Ensign. In 1497, John Cabot sailed for England and came to Newfoundland. The kingdoms of England and Scotland claimed land in North America. Colonies go back hundreds of years, and the British jurisdiction of Canada remains. All of Canada's prime ministers have had English, Scottish, Irish, or French ancestry, with Scottish and English being the most. Our first prime minister was a Scotsman, Sir John A. Macdonald. This has always been the population of Canada. So I made a post asking several questions to people who were there at the time, related to the adoption of the current maple leaf flag. I'll read the comments. As much as I would like to read out the names, so you can see many Canadian names, I'll keep the names of the respondents private. But I would like to tell you the ancestral origins of the last names of the people who answered. I ran that through AI. Based on the names, English, Anglo-Saxon, British Isles, including English, Welsh, 38. So 38 respondents. Irish, Gaelic, 9. Scottish overlaps with Gaelic and English, 9. French, 3. Dutch, Flemish, 1, partial. German, Central European, 2. Polish, Eastern European, 1. East Asian, 1. Italian, Spanish, Latin origin, 2. Other, uncertain, 3. So the overwhelming majority, English, Anglo-Saxon, British Isles, including English, Welsh. Then after that, Scottish and Irish, then French. This reflects the population. I asked if anyone was an adult in 1965 when the maple leaf was adopted, if they, their parents, or others liked or disliked it, what the drive behind it was, if there was opposition that they heard from, if it was seen as a departure away from Britain and the British connection, or not related to that at all, where people still felt the British connection, but Canada just gets its own flag. Did people tie it to identity or just not think much about it? I mentioned hearing conflicting accounts about the Union Jack being the official flag and the Red Ensign being the unofficial flag. I asked, for example, what flag flew outside your school? I'll read the responses. So, number 1, I liked the Pearson pennant as the option, with the blue bars to symbolize a united dominion from sea unto sea, and the three-pronged hemp leaf design. Comment 2, same person. Not to mention changing Dominion Day to the Banal Canada Day. Comment 3, different person. I remember I preferred blue on either end to symbolize sea to sea. Number 4, they reported a bunch of designs in color in the VR Sun. I liked the one with the blue edges like the ocean. It was a discussion item in grade 6 at Simon Fraser Elementary with Mr. Duncan. Number 5, I was born in 1977, but I found the old flag far more powerful and patriotic. It tells a story. 6, I was 22 and remember it well. I remember all the different designs that led up to it. Some were quite funny. These 3 were shortlisted. And you can see the 3 flags that she shared. Next comment. Back then, the school's flagpole flew the Red Ensign, which we considered Canada's flag. On special occasions, the Union Jack replaced the ensign, such as 11 November. In 1965, the newspapers published various designs for a new, purely Canadian flag, and people talked casually about their favorites. It wasn't considered a form of breaking away from Britain, just as a way of developing a united Canadian identity. As I remember, most everyone liked the new flag, but not with the hot fanatic passion that seems to apply to flags in many places now. Next comment. My extended family are all British and were most upset with the change in the flag. In the end, it was very much different and rather unique. Next comment. I was a teenager. I remember it well. Before the maple leaf was selected as our flag, there was a contest across Canada for people to submit suggestions for our new flag. My father was an amateur artist and a war veteran. He submitted 3 drawings for our new flag, and one of them was in the top 10. There were 2,600 submissions from across the country. The options were debated in Parliament by the All Party Committee, a 15-member parliamentary committee led by Liberal MP Herman Batten. Batten. Herman Batten. Next comment. I was probably responding to my question if you were an adult in 1965. Just like today, the British cohort was against anything that is Canadian and didn't like not appearing as a colony of the UK and didn't want Canada to be a real sovereign country. However, there was a strong desire by many Canadians to start appearing in image as a real country, and they somehow managed to get their way on the flag issue. However, even today, we haven't reached the appearance as a totally and real sovereign country because of the British tribal cohort, which may be hurting us economically. Just ask the Trumps, who we all know say we aren't a real country yet, and they feel should be the 51st state. Perhaps someday Canadians and our politicians will pull together and be a real country. Let's hope so. Okay, there's a reply to that comment, so here's the reply. Trump is just continuing to antagonize because he can get reactions. Mexico, Iceland, Greenland, and Panama told him to mind his own business and went about theirs globally. Canada wore red ball caps with white lettering, terrifying like mega ball caps, and marched around in grand indignation. And the WH monstrosity continues. FYI, didn't help that Just See Baby ogled and flirted openly with the first tramp, and she reciprocated openly. Donnie was jealous. Okay. Someone else responded, British tribal cohort? Really? Okay. Okay. Then the original. Okay. I will read everything that's here. So I'm going to read all the comments and the replies. Most comments I don't think have replies, and it's not always arguments like this. Okay, so the person that originally posted that comment is replying to the person that asked, British tribal cohort, really? Yes, actually, the UK British, or whatever you want to call them, in basic terms to outsiders, seems to be made up of tribes English, Scots, and Welsh. What's not totally understood is why each appear to dislike the others so intensely. It must go back to the medieval tribal or even earlier times. In terms of North America, their area is very small, and it's hard to understand this hateful attitude in such a small area. The other aspect about them is they seem to carry that hate attitude when coming to North America. Strange bunch, to say the least. Okay, I'm going to add a little. I don't want to add too much commentary. I sort of just want to read the comments of the people that were alive then. But this guy is anti-Canadian. If you're anti-English, anti-Scottish, anti-Welsh, okay, you're anti-Canadian. Next comment. I was in grade 2 and our school prepared us by having us all stand around the flagpole when the new maple leaf flag was raised. We colored pictures of the new flag afterwards. Next comment. I remember the adults, who were Legion members, were mostly happy and wanted complete independence from Great Britain. Of course, others didn't and wanted to spend their lives bowing to a monarch. Before we had what we have now, there was another one they were going to try with 3 maple leaves, but nobody liked it. Okay, a lot of these comments contradict one another. I think someone else mentioned that a lot of people like that design. And then, oh yeah, the Legion members were most happy to get independence from Great Britain. So and then there's a laugh. Someone laughed and liked two reactions. So this is on Facebook. Next comment. My parents are originally from the UK. I remember my dad saying he didn't like the cross being removed from the flag. He likely made that comment in the 70s. I was very young when it changed. Next comment. Soon enough, this is what we'll be saluting. And it's a picture of the Canadian flag that has Aboriginal design, First Nations design. And then someone replied to that, I do hope so. And then someone else replied to that, you'll also be paying additional rents because land ownership is being thrown under the bus. Next comment, I was 17 and a monarchist, so I wasn't thrilled. But the next year I joined the military and was proud to defend our flag and country. Next comment, there was high emotion and division over adopting a new flag and leaving the Red Ensign behind. But the new flag quickly became very popular, in part because it was uniquely Canadian. Next comment, Union Jack, they never should have changed it. But that's another Trudeau for you. A reply to that, oh, it's just an emoji face. And then another reply to that, PM Pearson at the time of the flag change. Next comment. There were disgraceful attacks on the people trying to come up with a new flag design. They were insulted and even threatened. The fossils were a drag on the whole country. Next comment is the same person. I remember raising the new maple leaf flag on February 15th, 1965. Next comment. It was known as Pearson's flag and took a while to be accepted. Reply to that. I like that one. The blue makes more sense than red. Or that's a reply. Or no. Oh, it's the same person, but she replied to her comment. So she wrote, it was known as Pearson's flag and took a while to be accepted. And then she said, I like that one. The blue makes more sense than red. Then someone else replied to her, me too. It shows the west and east coast waters. I remember well. A different person replies, this was the flag Pearson wanted, and the one just about everyone I knew in the area we lived in wanted. Nobody wanted the red one we ended up with. So see, we have a contradiction. Someone said, no one wanted this flag. This person said, where she lived, everyone wanted this flag. And this is with the 3 maple leafs and the blue on the sides. Okay, another comment. I was 8 years old when the new Canadian flag was issued. I remember coloring our new flag in class and feeling bored due to the lack of colors. The Union Jack was a beautiful flag to color, as were the provincial flags. Okay, another comment. I was 14 and it was in all the newspapers. The Red Ensign was typically the flag used in Canada, but it felt too much like being a British colony rather than a separate country, which is why most of the debate at the time was what the maple leaf on the new flag should look like. How many points on the leaf? And should the outside stripes be red or blue? The debate ran for a while. And now we have one of the most recognizable flags on earth. I am quite happy with this. Another comment. I remember the contest in school to design the new flag. Another comment. I have a book called I Stand for Canada, The Story of the Maple Leaf Flag by Rick Archbold. It's quite a good volume on the history of the flag. I quite like the illustrations that show some of the other entries and possible versions after the Red Ensign. Hope that helps. Next comment. I was not an adult, but I remember it and I did not like it. Okay, someone replied to that. How do you feel about it now? Then the same person then replies, I feel the same. Next comment. My grandfather was Scottish, so he loved the new Canadian flag versus the what he called the English flag. Not a big fan of the English. ... Next comment. I wasn't born until 68. What we have is all I've ever known. Next comment. Also, okay, this person wrote twice, so I'll read her first comment. I wasn't an adult, but I do remember. I hated the new flag and thought it was bland. I remember contest and the prospects and thought others were more interesting. Dad called it the dinosaur foot. Also, so another comment, same person. Also, I never appreciated it until I immigrated to the USA. During the vetting process, I wasn't allowed to go home. The first time I did go home and saw the maple leaf flying tall, I had to pull over the car and cry. Now I appreciate the flag. To her first comment, she got a reply and then she answered it. The reply is, "What do you think of it now?" Her answer, also, I never appreciated it until I immigrated, okay, to the, well, she wrote this twice then, to the US. During the vetting process, I wasn't allowed to go home. The first time I did go home and saw the maple leaf flying tall, I had to pull over the car and cry. Now I appreciate the flag. Okay, next comment. My dad still refers to the maple leaf as that damn jam label. There's a reply to that. My dad called it a damn soup can. Next comment. I participated in the contest for the new flag. My idea was the red maple leaf in the center with a blue bar on each side for from sea to sea. Next comment. Yes, I was a young adult during the flag debate. There were strongly held views. The nub was, do we do same old with the modification of the Red Ensign, a merchant marine flag, or establish a new flag for Canada? There was lively debate over various designs. Then the red maple leaf flag was chosen. The maple leaf flag is recognized widely around the world. There is simple, clean identification for Canadians and Canadiana in the maple leaf flag. It was part of Canada's peaceful process of becoming a fully independent country. Next comment. I was a teenager and remember it clearly. I couldn't understand why we need a new flag. Like the one we had, the Red Ensign was the flag flowing everywhere. Next comment. My dad was rather upset with the change. He said he had fought for Canada under the Red Ensign and did not like the change. He also did not like the new flag, the maple leaf. He did not think it was truly representative of the entire country. And if I am truly honest, I must admit I have never truly liked the maple leaf either. I was only a teenager when the change happened, however. It was the flag I had been brought up under, and I felt a deep connection to it. Perhaps I was just absorbing my father's dislike, but it is still a bit of a thorn in my side. The maple leaf seems a bit lackluster to me. Someone replied to that. Agree. The British Empire fought in 2 world wars. Never forget. The maple leaf is juvenile, not sea to sea, nor nods to our history, French, English. We have lost much over the years. B. Victoria, 1948. Grands and parents, too. This person wrote again. Well, I taught kindergarten at their level of sophistication. I'm not sure if that's a reply to someone else. It might not go perfectly in order on Facebook here, because someone else jumped in and wrote, and no sugar maples west of the lakehead. Definitely harkens to Ontario, Quebec, and not Canada as a whole. Still, it is striking and recognizable. Okay, another comment. Not 100% sure, but I think that I remember in grade school there was a contest to see what a new flag should be. Another comment. I remember it simply as a change from the traditional tie to Britain. Remember, our population at that time was different. We had a more significant population base from European countries. Also, this was only 40 years past World War II and 8-ish years from Korea. The military loyalty to GB was significant. 65. Okay, it wasn't as much as 40 years. What would it have been? The war ended in 45. 20 years. Well, I think it was actually 20 years past World War II. But yeah, so she says the military loyalty to GB, Great Britain, was significant. Then someone replies to her, oh, okay, they correct her. 1965 was 20 years after World War II. Then she wrote again, math never a strong point. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we're just writing. Okay, and then there's someone wrote a comment. If you grew up in the UK during World War II, it was still very present. My parents had rationing till 1955 in the UK and immigrated to Canada in 1959. Okay, next comment. My dad joined the Royal Canadian Navy when he was 17 in 1936 and served 20 years. Most of those years were served under the Red Ensign, including 2 wars, the Second World War and Korea. He was proud of his service and fiercely loyal to his country and his flag. He was unhappy with the change, but he grew to love the maple leaf flag. I was very sympathetic to my dad, but I love the uniqueness of the flag we have now. Next comment. A picture of me holding a small new Canadian flag. As a proud dual citizen living in the US, I love the maple leaf. I'd like to show it. Maybe this person would like me to share it, but I don't know. So I'm going to keep it private and won't show the picture. Um, but it's great that she shared it. Great to see. And I got reactions. Next comment. As I recall, with the approaching centennial, it was an issue of appearing to be independent and showing that Canada no longer had colonial ties to Britain. The majority of the pressure was from parts of Ontario and all of Quebec. I remember considerable support for the Red Ensign that had been used coming from Western Canada and the Maritimes. Next comment. I display a Red Ensign on my car on Dominion Day. And he shared a photo of his car with the Red Ensign flag on it. Next comment. I was a conflicted teen. As a child, the Union flag was flown on all government buildings and waved by us on holidays, but the Red Ensign became more common by the late 50s. A lot of people were really against any change, especially veterans. Pearson was booed at their annual conference. I was actually for the proposed tri-leaf design with blue borders and thought the design selected a tad dull. Anyway, we grew to accept the new flag, but our royal flag is still a variant of the Union flag, only a jack when flown on a ship. As an aside, people have short and selective memories, so beware of oral histories. Next comment. When I started school in 1963, it was the Red Ensign. By the time I was in grade 3, it was the maple leaf. I kind of liked the Red Ensign, but I like the maple leaf better. It's a more distinctive flag, and it doesn't immediately tie Canada to the British Empire. I don't remember any outcry against it. There may have been some, but it died pretty quickly. There's a reply to this comment. Except for my mother. She was furious and flew the Red Ensign until the day she died. We're British. LOL. I don't think it needed the LOL there. Um, yeah, but okay. So, because we are British. Next comment. I was here, and yes, I was conflicted. Next comment. The Red Ensign flew at our school, never the Union Jack. My family were very much in favor of the new flag, but preferred one option that had blue bars at the sides. Next comment. I was a child. My family were against it. I thought the new flag was dull in comparison. Next comment. I can't answer all your questions. I was 27-ish when the maple leaf was adopted by the government of Lester Pearson. I was enthusiastic about the new flag. The man I worked for wanted to retain the Red Ensign as he had served in World War II. As far as I know, the Canadian flag was the Red Ensign. Next comment. I was an adult, but a kid. What? I was an adult, but a kid, but I remember it pretty clearly. My family thought it was great and represented the country stepping into its own identity instead of the Dominion flag. Okay, someone replied to that. Same memories. And then another person replied, my Scottish parents loved their new life in Canada. My dad fought in World War II with Seaforth Highlanders and was very proud of the new Canadian flag and Canada finding its place in the world as an independent country. The flag is so distinctive and recognized around the world. All right, guys, those are the comments and some replies to some, and all of the replies to some of the comments. So I read everything. Yep. I have different backgrounds, all European backgrounds. It includes um, Scottish, English, Irish, and a couple of people commented about the Scottish liking the change. I don't see that. I don't associate the Union Jack just with English and the English-Scottish rivalry or something. Um, so I don't associate with that. But anyway, what do you guys think? What do you think about the change? Were you alive back then? Were you a child, a teenager? Were you already an adult? What did your parents think about it? Or were you born after, like I was? Were you born after this change? What do you think about this? I hope this was informative. You know, keeping some of these first-hand accounts. I think that's important to get these first-hand accounts. I don't remember learning much about this change. Maybe we did in school. I don't remember learning too much about this. Any comments? What do you think? Thanks for tuning in.